True healing begins when you allow what needs to end to reach its completion, rather than resisting the inevitable. There is a natural order to life, a rhythm to the way things unfold. Just as the seasons change without resistance, so too must we embrace the changes that life presents. But human nature often clings to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves us. We hold on to relationships that have run their course, careers that no longer fulfill us, and identities that no longer reflect who we are becoming. We resist endings because they feel like losses, but in reality they are transitions, necessary steps toward a new beginning. There is a deep wisdom in knowing when something has reached its natural conclusion. When you fight to hold on to what is slipping away, you only prolong your suffering. Pain is not always an enemy. Sometimes it is a signal that change is needed. Think about the pain of a seed that must break open to become a tree. The seed does not resist the process. It allows itself to be transformed. In the same way, healing begins when you stop resisting the inevitable and allow things to unfold as they are meant to. But letting something end is rarely easy. The mind creates countless reasons why we should hold on: memories, investments of time and energy, fear of the unknown. The heart, too, struggles to release what it once held dear. We convince ourselves that if we just try harder, things might change. If we just wait a little longer, maybe the situation will improve. But deep down, we know the truth. We feel it in the moments of exhaustion, in the quiet whisper of intuition, in the undeniable reality that something is no longer right. And yet, we resist. Resistance only breeds suffering. It keeps us stuck in cycles of pain, repeating the same lessons until we finally learn them. It is like holding onto a rope that is burning your hands. Refusing to let go only increases the pain. The moment you release it, you free yourself from the torment. The same is true for anything in life that is meant to end. When you let go, you create space for healing, for new opportunities, for growth that could never happen if you remained stuck in the past. Some endings come suddenly, like a storm that changes everything overnight. Others are slow, like leaves changing color before they fall. But regardless of how they arrive, all endings serve a purpose. They clear the path for something greater. They strip away what is no longer needed so that you can step into a new season of life. This is not a punishment, it is a process. And when you stop resisting, you begin to see the beauty in it. Healing does not mean you will not feel pain. In fact, the first step toward healing is allowing yourself to feel fully. Too often people try to numb their pain, to avoid it, to distract themselves with busyness or external validation. But avoidance only delays the inevitable. True healing comes from facing the pain head on, from acknowledging the loss, the grief, the disappointment. It comes from giving yourself permission to mourn what was without judgment or shame. But there is a difference between mourning and dwelling. Mourning is natural. It is the heart's way of processing change. Dwelling, on the other hand, keeps you chained to the past. It is one thing to honor your emotions. It is another to allow them to define you. The pain you feel is real, but it is not your identity. It is a season, not a life sentence. When you understand this, you stop resisting the process and begin to move through it with grace. Endings are often accompanied by uncertainty. When one chapter closes, the next may not be immediately clear. This in-between space can be uncomfortable. It can feel like standing in the dark, unsure of which way to go. But uncertainty is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. It is in these moments of transition that the most profound growth happens. When you let go of what is no longer meant for you, you open yourself to what is. Healing also requires trust. Trust that even though you do not have all the answers, you are being guided. Trust that the pain you feel now is not without purpose. Trust that on the other side of this, there is something greater waiting for you. And trust that you are strong enough to move through this process. You have survived before. You have faced challenges, losses, and disappointments, and yet you are still here. That is proof of your resilience. That is proof that you are capable of enduring, of overcoming, of transforming. The transformation does not happen passively. It requires action. Healing is not just about waiting for time to make things better. Time alone does not heal. It is what you do with that time that matters. You must actively participate in your healing. That means setting boundaries to protect your peace. It means surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. It means engaging in practices that nourish your mind, body, and spirit. It means choosing every day to move forward, even if it is just one small step at a time. Letting something end is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. It means you recognize when something has fulfilled its purpose and you are willing to release it so that something new can take its place. It means you value your growth over your comfort. It means you understand that not everything is meant to last forever, and that is okay. Some things come into our lives to teach us, to shape us, to prepare us for what is next. And when their time is up, we must be willing to let them go. Healing also requires forgiveness, not just for others, but for yourself. You must forgive yourself for the times you held on too long, for the times you ignored the signs, for the times you settled for less than you deserved. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was okay. It means you refuse to carry the burden of resentment any longer. It means you release yourself from the weight of the past so that you can step fully into your future. And as you heal, you will begin to see the purpose in your pain. You will realize that what once felt like an ending was actually a new beginning. You will look back and understand that every loss was a redirection. Every challenge was a lesson. Every tear you shed watered the soil of your growth. And you will no longer view endings as something to fear, but as something to embrace. One day you will wake up and realize that the pain that once felt unbearable has softened. The weight you carried has lifted. The scars remain, but they no longer define you. You have stepped into a new version of yourself, stronger, wiser, more at peace. And you will be grateful for the endings you once feared because they led you to where you are now. So do not resist what needs to end. Do not cling to what is already gone. Trust the process. Feel the pain, but do not let it consume you. Allow yourself to heal, to grow, to transform. And know that on the other side of this ending is a new beginning, one that is greater than anything you could have imagined. Pain is a teacher, and when embraced with wisdom, it refines, strengthens, and prepares you for a greater purpose. Yet most people spend their lives avoiding pain, running from discomfort, and resisting the very thing that has the power to shape them into who they are meant to be. We often perceive pain as something negative, something to be escaped or numbed. But pain, when understood correctly, is one of the greatest instruments of transformation. It is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to build you. Think about the refining of gold. Gold in its raw state is not as valuable as it could be. It must go through intense heat, be melted down, purified, and shaped before it becomes something precious. The fire does not destroy the gold, it removes the impurities, the weaknesses, the things that do not belong. In the same way, pain is the fire that refines your character. It burns away illusions, strips away falsehoods, and reveals who you truly are. It strengthens what is weak and deepens what is shallow. Without pain, growth would be impossible. Without adversity, there would be no resilience. Yet, when pain arrives, our first instinct is to reject it. We ask, why me? Why is this happening? We question, we resist, we try to negotiate our way out of suffering. But what if, instead of fighting pain, we embraced it as part of the journey? What if we saw it as a necessary process to becoming stronger, wiser, and more equipped for our divine purpose? Pain teaches you things that comfort never could. It teaches you patience when life forces you to wait. It teaches you faith when you cannot see a way forward. It teaches you resilience when everything around you tells you to give up. It forces you to dig deeper, to find strength you never knew you had. When you understand this, you stop viewing pain as an enemy and start seeing it as a teacher. Every great individual who has ever walked this earth has faced pain. There is no success without struggle, no triumph without trials. The strongest people are not those who have lived without suffering. They are the ones who have faced it, endured it, and emerged from it with greater wisdom and purpose. They did not allow pain to make them bitter, they allowed it to make them better. Pain also has a way of revealing truth. It strips away the masks we wear, the illusions we hold, the false beliefs we cling to. It forces us to confront our fears, our insecurities, and our deepest wounds. It exposes the things we try to hide from ourselves and others. And while this exposure can be uncomfortable, it is also necessary. Growth begins with truth. Healing begins with acknowledgement. Transformation begins when you stop running and start facing what needs to be faced. One of the most powerful lessons pain teaches is the importance of letting go. Many people suffer not because of the pain itself, but because they refuse to release what is causing it. They hold on to relationships that no longer serve them, dreams that are no longer aligned with their purpose, identities that no longer reflect who they are becoming. They cling to the past, refusing to accept that some things are meant to change. But pain has a way of pushing you forward. It forces you to release what is no longer meant for you so that you can step into what is. There are times when pain comes not as a punishment but as preparation. You may not understand why you are going through a difficult season, but there is always a greater purpose behind it. Perhaps you are being strengthened for a responsibility you do not yet see. Perhaps you are being prepared for a blessing that requires a new level of wisdom and maturity. What feels like suffering now may one day be the very thing that equips you to fulfill your destiny. But for pain to refine you, you must embrace it with wisdom. This means not just enduring it, but learning from it. Too often, people go through pain without ever growing from it. They become hardened, resentful, and stuck in cycles of suffering. But wisdom allows you to extract the lesson, to find meaning in the struggle, to use the experience to elevate rather than diminish you. Pain also deepens your capacity for compassion. When you have suffered, you understand the suffering of others. When you have been broken, you recognize brokenness in those around you. This is why some of the most powerful healers, leaders, and teachers are those who have endured great pain themselves. They do not speak from theory, they speak from experience. Their wisdom is not just knowledge, it is lived truth. And because of that, they are able to uplift, inspire, and guide others in a way that is deeply impactful. There is also a sacredness to pain. It connects you to your deepest self, to your faith, to your purpose. It strips away distractions and forces you to look inward. Some of the greatest revelations in life come in moments of suffering. In the silence of pain, you hear truths you were too busy to notice before. You begin to see what truly matters. You gain clarity about what is worth your time, your energy, and your heart. But the key is to move through pain, not get stuck in it. Pain is a passage, not a destination. It is meant to be experienced, learned from, and then released. Holding on to pain only prolongs suffering. You must allow yourself to heal. You must allow yourself to move forward. Healing does not mean forgetting what happened. It means choosing not to let it define you. It means taking the lessons, the strength, the wisdom, and using them to build a better future. There is no shame in feeling pain. Too often, society teaches us to suppress our emotions, to act as if we are unaffected. But suppression only leads to deeper wounds. True strength is not in avoiding pain, but in facing it with courage. It is in acknowledging your struggles while refusing to be defeated by them. Pain also teaches you to value joy. It is through experiencing hardship that you learn to appreciate moments of peace, love, and happiness. Those who have known deep pain often experience deep gratitude. They do not take life for granted. They understand that every moment is precious, that every day is a gift. And so the question is not whether you will face pain in life. You will. The real question is how you will respond to it. Will you allow it to break you, or will you allow it to build you? Will you resist it, or will you embrace it as part of your growth? Will you see it as a curse, or will you recognize it as a tool for transformation? The choice is yours. Pain will come, but what it does to you is determined by how you choose to handle it. You can either allow it to make you bitter, or you can allow it to make you better. You can either let it keep you stuck, or you can let it propel you forward. You can either fear it, or you can embrace it, with the understanding that it is shaping you into who you are meant to be. And when you look back, you will see that the moments of greatest pain were also the moments of greatest growth. You will realize that everything you went through was preparing you for something greater. You will see that nothing was wasted, not a single tear, not a single struggle. It all had a purpose. It all was part of the plan. So do not fear pain, do not resist it. Embrace it with wisdom. Let it refine you, let it strengthen you, let it prepare you for the purpose you were created to fulfill. Because when you do, you will emerge from it not just whole, but transformed. And you will look back and understand that what once felt like suffering was actually the making of you. Letting go is an act of faith, trust, and surrender, freeing you to walk into the new season that awaits you. It is one of the hardest things to do in life because it requires you to release something or someone that you once held dear. It demands that you step away from what is familiar, comfortable, or deeply connected to your emotions. But holding on to something that no longer serves you only delays the blessings, growth, and transformation that are waiting for you on the other side. Letting go is not just about removing something from your life. It is about making space for what is meant to come next. Too often people stay stuck in relationships, jobs, or situations that have expired because they fear the unknown. They cling to what is because they cannot see what could be. But faith is about trusting that when one door closes, another is opening, even if you cannot see it yet. It is about believing that there is something greater ahead, even when the present moment feels uncertain. Surrendering what no longer belongs in your life is a declaration that you trust in divine timing and purpose. It is a statement that you refuse to be held captive by the past, by old wounds, or by relationships that drain your spirit. It is the understanding that moving forward requires releasing what weighs you down. You cannot walk into your next season while carrying the burdens of the last. Sometimes letting go feels like losing, but it is not. It is an act of wisdom. It is choosing to detach from what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. It is deciding that your peace, growth, and purpose are more important than temporary comfort. It is stepping away not because you do not care, but because you care about yourself enough to walk away from what no longer serves your destiny. People struggle with letting go because they are afraid of emptiness. They believe that if they release something or someone, they will be left with nothing. But letting go is never about loss. It is about making room for something better. It is about trusting that the void will not remain empty, but will be filled with something greater, something that aligns with the new version of you. When you let go, you are telling the universe, I am ready for what is next. You are showing that you trust the process of life, that you believe in the unfolding of something greater. It takes courage to walk away from what you once held on to, but every step you take forward brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. Letting go is also about releasing control. We often hold on to people and situations because we believe we can fix them, change them, or make them fit into our plans. But control is an illusion. You cannot force someone to love you the way you deserve. You cannot make a situation work when it is not meant to. You cannot rewrite a chapter that has already been written. Trying to control what is not yours to control only leads to frustration, exhaustion, and disappointment. Faith teaches us to surrender, to trust that what is meant for us will never miss us. When you let go, you are acknowledging that your life is guided by a greater force, that you do not have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You are releasing the burden of trying to make something work that was never meant to. You are freeing yourself from unnecessary pain, stress, and heartache. Surrendering does not mean you do not care. It does not mean you do not love. It means you love yourself enough to step into what is meant for you instead of holding on to what is not. It means you have enough faith to trust that if something is meant for you, it will stay, and if it is not, letting it go is the best thing you can do for yourself. Letting go also requires forgiveness, not just of others, but of yourself. Sometimes we hold on to things because we carry guilt, regret, or shame. We replay the past, wishing we had done things differently. But you cannot move forward while holding on to yesterday's mistakes. You must release yourself from the weight of what was. You must forgive yourself for the things you did not know, for the times you stayed too long, for the moments you gave too much. Growth is about learning, not punishing yourself for what you did not yet understand. When you let go, you release the energy that keeps you tied to the past. You allow yourself to step into new beginnings with a heart that is open, not burdened by what was. You make space for new experiences, new relationships, and new levels of personal growth. The more you release, the more you gain. Letting go is also an act of self-love. It is saying, I deserve peace. It is recognizing that you are worthy of a life that is free from unnecessary pain and struggle. When you let go of toxic relationships, you create space for healthy ones. When you let go of limiting beliefs, you make room for confidence and courage. When you let go of what is holding you back, you step into the life that is waiting for you. Some things will naturally fall away from your life as you grow. Not everyone is meant to walk with you to your next level. Some relationships were only meant for a season, not a lifetime. Some situations were meant to teach you something, not to be permanent. And that is okay. Not every loss is a tragedy. Some losses are blessings in disguise. Some endings are necessary for new beginnings. The truth is, if you do not let go of what is weighing you down, you will never be able to rise into what is meant for you. Holding on to the wrong things will keep you stagnant. It will prevent you from stepping into your purpose. It will drain your energy, your joy, and your ability to embrace the future. Letting go requires trust. It requires you to believe that what is ahead is greater than what is behind. It requires you to have faith that even though you may not understand now, one day you will look back and see why it had to happen the way it did. You will see that every ending was simply a redirection. Every closed door was leading you to a better one. Every release was preparing you for something more. And when you finally let go, you will feel lighter, you will feel freer, you will no longer be held back by the weight of things that no longer belong in your life. You will move with a new sense of clarity, purpose, and confidence. You will realize that what you thought was a loss was actually a gain. You will see that the act of letting go was not about losing something, but about gaining yourself. You will understand that every step of the journey was leading you closer to who you were meant to be. You will realize that surrendering was not about giving up, but about stepping into something greater. So let it go. Release it. Trust the process. Have faith in what is coming. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that what is meant for you will always find its way to you. And most of all, remember that you are never truly losing. You are only making space for something greater.